cheetah! I'm just going to quickly call Sean. Sean, come in. Sean, Arathusa, come in. Isn't that wonderful, everyone? Oh, it's so special. Sean, if you can copy me, I've got them here at the pan on the fire break in the clearings. And come on, come north now. Come this way. Ah, that's gorgeous. We so seldom see these chaps. Remember, 2 male cheetahs. And for those of you who are new viewers, and I know there are quite a few of you, these are the 2 males that spend most of their time around here. Let's just go a little bit forward. And I think they've eaten something fairly large, and that's why they're not moving around. And you know, I've never actually seen a female cheetah here. These are the only 2 I've seen. Now, I know they look like they're pretty close, and they are, but that's unfortunately next door, so we're not allowed to go there. We'll just ease a little bit off the road here and see if we can't get some kind of sight of them in the grass. No, they really are utterly invisible now, aren't they? Oh, that's a pity. I'm just going to ask the final control for a communications test because I suspect quite strongly we've lost them. Oh no, there they are. They're okay. Phew. And I'm afraid the cheetah are too deeply in the grass to see. I think it's worthwhile sitting here just for a little while to see if they don't lift their heads up again. We might be lucky. And while we do that, Tristan is looking for the little prince. Let's go and find out how that's going. There they are, they're up. Wait. Good, sorry, you are still with us, just in case this is the last we get of this cheetah. So as I was saying, these are the 2 males. They go between the southern Manuleti and here, sort of patrolling the clearings. This is just about as far south as they'll go. They'll go basically to the end of the clearings here at Malamala, turn on and go back again. And I'm glad you're all excited to see them. I'm also deeply excited to see them. I wish they would come a little bit closer so that I might take a picture of them. They're very beautiful, and I'm sad the kids aren't still with us because, of course, it's the first thing they ask when they see a leopard is, what's the difference between a leopard and a cheetah? And it's so nice you can actually see it now. Yes, no, don't lie down. Hopeless creature. Get up, you're supposed to be diurnal. Oh, there's some very beautiful grass through there, I suppose. I think definitely worth our while just to have a little bit of a wait, and we'll see what happens here over the course of the next little while. We might have a leopard come wandering by, a couple of spider hunting wasps lurking about the place. Yeah, I think we'll wait here and see if they don't pop out in the next few minutes. I can't see anything else. I'm just going to let's try and scan down there, Jesse, in case they're at the buffalo. Right, I am going to wait here, and while we do that, Karula is back on the kill. And so let's go and find out if she's still hungry. There. The broken stick, no, the other side there. Yeah, just go to the right a bit. Sorry, left. Left. Up a bit. There, in the middle of the frame. If you zoom full on in the middle of the frame there. Up a bit. Yeah, that's where they are. There, you just saw the flick of the tail. Left a bit. Up. There. You see the ear there? There you go. What a cheetah sighting, everybody. Look at that. An ear. And fantastic ear that is too, and you can see a tail flicking. Good grief, our cup runneth over, a flicking tail and a flicking ear. Brilliant. Gorgeous grasses, signal grasses, chloris glasses. Now, as I was saying, you can see how long that grass is, and it means that they have to keep standing up. They're so nervous of other predators, and they have to be so careful of other predators. They're not capable of fighting anything off. Their only defense is to run, and we know that that is the thing that the cheetah is very best at. Right, quickly to Byron. There they are, everybody. Isn't that special? Well, they were on the move. They now seem to be on the sleep. It seems to be the standard thing these chaps are doing, but they've walked straight north onto Cheetah Plains, and so we've got them. Even if they do go to sleep, we have them with us. I think that is just too beautiful, eh? How wonderful. Right, I especially drove all the way up here because I thought they were going to get up and move. I can get a little bit closer to them. And so I will we're just going to quickly look down there, because there's the great herd of beefaloes. Well, it's not a great herd, it's about 20 of them, moving up towards the waterhole not too far from here. There they go. And now the cheetah is coming past us. It poses no threat to those buffalo. Of course. I'm not sure that it knows that, though. Now, Nick, you want to know if male cheetah typically stay together. They do if they're brothers. So these guys are brothers. And so they've formed a coalition. Well, this is very special. It's laying right down next to us. And they will spend probably the rest of their lives together like this. Isn't that lovely? Reese, it's a very good question, and the answer is absolutely yes. So you say, have I ever seen cheetah on airfields? Because they're a flat area. Absolutely I have. And it happens quite frequently that they operate on airfields. Because, of course, there's space for them to run. Now, you wouldn't see them normally on the airfield. They'd normally be lying on the fringes of the airfield. Which just allows them, of course, to hide from whatever is walking along. Gorgeous stuff. We are so lucky right now. Right, it's going into our shadow. We'll just do a little bit of a turn around. Oh, right up here. Let's just watch this one going past here. Oh, this is wonderful. James, you're wondering if cheetah, rather like male lions, will separate from each other every so often to patrol territories separately, like the Birmingham boys do, for example. I suppose they might sometimes, but I've never seen these guys do that. These guys tend to be in the same area all the time. They don't normally change where they are at all, at least change the sort of their arrangement. And I think it's for two reasons. One is for protection, and one is because their territory isn't that big, and they are quite capable of patrolling it. The density of cheetah in this area is such that there's no real need for them to be patrolling on their own, if you know what I mean. Rather special, this. Gorgeous stuff. Sometimes all is right with the world, as I like to say, during moments like this. And that's simply because we just don't see these guys very often, do we? And the light could not be more perfect if it wanted to be. Bit of a sneeze there from one of them. Yeah, now, Greece, this is a very good question, because you're wondering if these animals ever eat carrion, and they don't, you know. Interestingly, they're not carrion eaters in the slightest. They are only fresh meat eaters. They're, with the wild dogs, one of the only species that we get out here that will only eat fresh meat. I mean, it's not impossible that they would choose to eat some carrion if they were desperate, but they don't tend to scavenge, and it's largely, I think, or one of the reasons that they don't scavenge is that they're not really capable of it. They're not capable of chasing other animals off kills. And so they don't tend to worry about that sort of thing. They'll try and kill their own kills, and I suspect because they've totally sort of over-specialized. Sorry, I've got something in my eye. They've totally over-specialized in or by becoming so fast and by developing the physiology and the morphology to be able to run at the speeds that they do, they've lost the versatility that something like a leopard has, which can scavenge and does a very good job of scavenging. But these chaps just don't have the physical capability to fight off others. So if they found a carcass that was unattended and it wasn't too far past the sell-by date, then I suppose they might have a bit of a bite at it, but normally not, no. I know, Chanel, I must confess I felt exactly the same as you. When we were looking at the cheetah in the grass and all we could see was his ear, you say it gives you such joy to see the fact that the grass has grown up to the point where we can only see a cheetah's ear sticking out of it. I agree completely. It was so nice. And I know, I mean, it might have been a bit frustrating if perhaps it was the first time you've ever seen a cheetah and you really wanted to spend a bit more time looking at them. But it was a lovely thing, I think, that. Let's move a little bit closer to them. We're not going to, I mean, I suppose, look, it's not going to get too dark before we close down, but we won't be with them after sundown because they are not nocturnal animals, so we definitely want to shine any lights on them. But I was just thinking that we hardly actually have any dark in our drives at the moment. Now, what I don't want to do is ruin our sighting by putting my shadow on them as the last of the embers of the day fades. Because soon the sunset is going to get hold of them, and they will disappear from that gorgeous golden colour, and they will become another colour, and that will be sort of a fairly bland tan, really. Marvellous. And this grass, I've got to tell you, is rather wonderful to lie down in. I've done it myself, and I can understand entirely why they feel quite so comfortable. Right, we're going to see what these cheetahs do, and we'll see if they show us more than just their ears. While we do that, Tristan would like to show you why it is that they're fading from gold to dull tan. There they are. What a perfect afternoon it is. And they're both lying quite far apart now from each other, about 30 meters or so, 100 feet. And they're panting quite a lot. I can't see if they've eaten, to be honest. Now, Gail, you say with these two male cheetahs being together, who mates? Well, at the moment, neither of them, because I haven't seen a female cheetah in this area. But I think you will find that they almost share mating rights. It's a well-known sort of, there is some evidence to show, certainly up in the Serengeti, that cheetah females exhibit multi-paternity, so their litters, which can be up to 9 cubs, but that's very unusual, that can have multiple fathers. So I think you'll find if they came across an estrus female, they may well both mate with her. I suspect there might be a bit of conflict between them, and you'll probably find that one of them dominates the estrus cycle for more than the other. But I think you may find that that happens a little bit less than it does with lions, and that they might mate with them, they might both mate. Now, the reason I'm slightly unsure about that is that I've never seen it before, and there are very few who have seen it. It's not a common thing to see. I think it happens quite a lot under the cover of darkness. They're not quite so voyeuristic as leopards and lions, which tend not to really mind how many are watching. Here we go to the right-hand side. We've got the one male coming along. They certainly both mark territory, though. And the territory they mark is simply from other male cheetah. It's not to dissuade the presence of other predators, because other predators are generally not afraid of them at all. And they're not as affectionate as lions. I mean, they definitely like being around each other, but you can see they don't have that head rubbing and that sort of thing. And Ginny, you're wondering also if they behave like lions at a kill. In other words, do they box each other and fight in the same way that lions do? Ginny, they don't, you know. They're much more likely to share. I'm sure that there is a little bit of aggression, in the same way that there is a little bit of aggression at a wild dog kill, but nothing substantial. And I think you'll find it's probably exactly the same with these cheetah. They eat as fast as they can. They bolt their food because they know that if they kill something, they are going to attract vultures, which in turn will attract other predators like lions and hyenas. Now, remember I was talking about the way they lie down with their heads to the side. This is what I meant. They're able to go to sleep with their heads at the most uncomfortable looking angle. They can sleep like they're lying right now. Now, if you're not too sort of infirm, you try and do that. You try and lie down and on your side and lift your head into a position where you can see completely sort of parallel with the ground, so your eyes are horizontal, and see how quickly you get a crick in your neck, because I certainly can't do it. And these guys have adapted that they're able to lie like that just precisely so that they can open their eyes, swivel their head slightly, and see if there is any threat on the horizon, or indeed if there's any prey. None of the other cats can do that. If you watch a leopard or a lion, yes, they can lift their heads to that position, but they don't rest like these ones do. They will eventually put their heads back down or lie on the fronts. They cannot lie on the side with the head completely horizontal, with the eyes completely horizontal to the ground. It is wonderful. It really is a gorgeous, gorgeous sight. So, I mean, look, we've still got a bit of light, so I think we'll probably stay with them. We might be able to stay with them for the rest of the drive, so we'll try and do that and see if they don't get up. If we scan around the rest of the clearings, you will find that there's very little going on. I think the buffalo have probably headed off towards Cheetah Plains Pan over there. And otherwise, things are very quiet down here, and I don't know what these fellows were thinking about when they came here. Maybe they just thought they wanted to get away from where those buffalo had been. But I don't think they're going to go hunting. I don't, you know, Ephraim only saw them very far in the distance. He said he thought they were full. I don't think these guys are full. I think they look fairly skinny to me. So with any luck, they will get up and do something. Mario, it's a common misconception that cheetah do not climb trees. You say, do they have the ability to climb trees like leopards? The answer is no, they don't, but they do climb. They need trees that are sort of slightly angled. They will manage to get up angled trees, and they don't climb, straight into the boughs of trees and lie in them. They can rest on low trees though, but they do need a trunk that is slightly angled, and often they climb for lookout and to mark their territory. They will often leave their dung and urine on a fallen over stump or tree. So I mean, look, it's climbing in the same way that I guess I would climb a tree, where it's pretty awkward, and unless the tree's most convenient, then it's not possible. But they do go up trees quite a lot. And you get some, I mean, many of the most quintessential African cheetah shots have been of cheetah on lookout in the forks of a sort of dead tree that was easy to climb. The wind is just gently blowing from the northeast. Winter prism, you want to know what type of eyes they have. I don't know if you are talking about the colour or the shape of the pupil. Winter prism, they've got orange eyes, very much like our friend Amber Eyes of the Ninkapuma Pride, but they've got orange, at least round pupils. So apparently the round pupil is best for the coursing predator, or any predator that actually has to give chase, as opposed to purely pounce. Here we go. They've spotted something. I can't see what it is. The only part of me that wants to agree with Ephraim on the state of their fullness is that they're lying in the open. They're not lying on the fringes of the clearing, which is what they're much more likely to do. I cannot see what that cheetah is looking at. Miles and miles to the south, I suspect. And obviously it wasn't nearly as exciting as it first seemed. Oh, hi. As we watch this cheetah lift its head as the dusk starts to fall, you say, are they able to hunt at night time? They are, but you will find that they do it only during a full moon, in this area specifically. Their activities are tailored to avoid the activities of the more dominant predators, the lions, hyenas and leopards. So I do know that down at a place called Kwandwe, where they were reintroduced to the Eastern Cape, before the advent of good numbers of leopards and spotted hyenas, they did hunt at night. They did quite a lot of hunting at night. So they probably see all right at night, probably not as well as leopards or lions, but definitely far better than we can. And they will hunt at night in the absence of other pressure from other predators, because it's easier for them. It's much easier, obviously, to sneak through the bushes in the middle of the night and catch something than it is in broad daylight. I think what's also quite interesting here, and I've actually never thought of this before, we tend to think of leopards as traditionally nocturnal predators, and yet you cannot but say that the design of their fur is identical almost. I mean, yes, of course, there's a difference in the way that the spots are arranged and the fact that a leopard has rosettes, but the coloration is the same. And they don't look like lions. The coloration for lions is completely different. And I think that probably means that their hunting activity is probably focused much more similarly than we think it is. So leopards, of course, we know, especially Karula, will hunt in the day. They will absolutely hunt in the day if they have to, and sometimes by choice if it's cool. But I think you'll find that this time of the day right now is the prime time for an animal of that color to be hunting. Just moving through the fringes of the vegetation, and where the leopard will look for something in the bushes on the fringes, this thing will look for something in the clearings and give chase through the clearings. But I think it's quite interesting that their colour is the same, and I think you'll find, therefore, that the time, or when the light is similar, that's ridiculous, when the light gets to round about what it is now, I think you'll find it's optimal for both species. Whereas a lion definitely coloured for the night. Right. Yeah, no, winter prism, that's what I thought you meant. You said you were talking about shape, not colour. Yes, they've got round pupils, so like a lion and a leopard, or a wild dog, and that allows them, I'm not really sure that it's so much better than having, say, the slit eyes. Well, what it does, it allows a greater ability, I think, to judge distance than, say, an antelope's eyes, but not as good an ability to perfect the jump or to perfect the distance as it would be for, say, a pouncing cat like a serval or a domestic house cat or even a caracal, which have to pinpoint their pounces. They don't chase at all, whereas a leopard, of course, and a lion will chase a little bit, and of course this thing is a chasing predator. And so they've got the round pupils, they don't have the slit pupils. And just as Andrew drives off-road there, the smell of the aniseed is just too wonderful. It's gorgeous. So we're sitting with two of the most beautiful cats we have here, and some marvellous, marvellous smells. Okay, I think we're going to call it quits with these cheetah, if that's all right. It's getting a little bit dark. We don't want to put any pressure on them. So we're going to head across to cheetah. We're going to head across to Tristan, who has got a bird in the sunset.